Plaintiff Teresa Crone says she and the defendant fell in love quickly, and he moved in with her and her parents. Teresa claims the defendant became emotionally unavailable and played video games all day, and she's suing him today for her engagement ring, which she paid off. Defendant Thomas T.J. Backley says his relationship with Teresa was one-sided, and there were literally times when he would cry and beg her for love and attention. Thomas claims he did everything for Teresa and would even massage her back for hours. And he's countersuing for unpaid rent.
Start with you.
TJ is my ex-fiance. I met the defendant in 2009 at a Halloween party. We hit it off and just fell in love with each other quickly. When he moved into my house, my parents' house, it was like having a child instead of a grown man living there. He wasn't there emotionally for me. He was not working at the time, and he would be playing video games all the time on his computer and on his Xbox.
How long had you all been dating before moving in?
Roughly about 2 to 3 months. And like I said, I mean, we fell for each other quickly.
Well, your parents must have fell for him too.
Yes. And
the man moving there with your daughter 2 months after she meets him. He may have been a serial killer. You all don't know anything about that man. 2 months. Go ahead.
That's what he was for Halloween.
That's a good point. Yep. And I guess her trick-or-treat started out with a treat. But sounds like it ended up as a trick. Let's see. How wasn't he there for you emotionally? What emotional needs did you have after 2 months?
He was not a good communicator. I would ask him, why do you not communicate me? He wouldn't have conversations with me, and he'd just tell me, well, I have nothing to say.
Well, I had nothing to say because you told me everything I talked about was impractical.
Because you wouldn't have normal adult conversations with me.
What do you consider a normal adult conversation?
Having a mature conversation instead of talking comical and like a cartoon character.
Made you laugh at the time, didn't it?
No.
Most women appreciate a sense of humor in a guy.
That's what I thought.
Right, that's, yeah. What's she really mad about?
I really don't know why she's mad about it. You know, to be honest, she says that I wasn't emotional when, I mean, there were points where it came to where I got so frustrated I would practically cry, begging for love and attention. We had to fight in our relationship just so I get a kiss hello when I got home. I mean, I was emotionally there for her. I would come home, I would give her a kiss. I would, you know, it'd come time to lay in bed, I'd rub her back for an hour to 2 hours till she fell asleep. Yeah, like lightly. And I mean,
you had to rub her back for an hour or two?
Yeah, so that way she
took that long to get her to flip over? Yeah. I mean, to turn on your back? I'm just saying.
Your Honor.
But I mean, she says I was cold, but it's like, it just came down to, you know, I didn't feel loved or appreciated.
I guess you wouldn't. The only thing you can get to is the back. Go ahead.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
He is a drama queen. He over-exaggerates. He acts like a little baby. He needs someone there 24/7 by his side showing him attention.
You're the one that said he was neglectful of you.
Yes.
Now you're trying to suggest he wanted too much of your attention.
You know, my way of seeing it is I'd like to have a conversation with my guy. And he just wouldn't like to talk or have conversations. And we get in arguments about that.
I'm sorry. You know, I do conversate, but maybe not to what she would expect. But I mean,
conversate about video games. That's all you talk about.
And, you know, I give her my time. I am a romantic person. I would go and try to grab her by the hips and turn her to give her a kiss when she was going for the TV remote, and I would get the cold shoulder. The remote was more important than I was.
What did you do romantic for me?
Yeah, right. That don't sound romantic. That sounds like you a sex fiend.
I still buy a flower.
Yeah, I don't blame you. She wants a romance. Talk to her, right? You want to have a decent conversation. Oh,
his idea of romance, you know, at one time he cooked me dinner and he burnt the potatoes.
He did his best. We're going to get to this breach of contract, but he sounds like a decent guy. Sense of humor, try to cook for you, give you massages at night, and he couldn't even get a kiss when you walk in.
I couldn't even get a decent back scratching.
Like I said, he's a drama queen.
You want
Your
to say
Honor,
something? Come on
may
up.
I say something?
State your name.
My name is Grace Poche. I'm Teresa's mother, and yes, we made the mistake of allowing TJ into our home too early. It was done with good intent. They hit it off really, really, really good. He was going through a hard time, didn't have a family. We had the room. We thought, okay.
Well,
we'll
they
take
did
him.
stay in separate rooms.
No, I'm not going to say that, but my daughter is
Only when we
also...
slept, Your Honor.
My daughter is also an adult. Yes, I realize it's under our roof.
How old was she then?
25.
25. Okay, now, TJ, I'm going to say this about you. You're standing here acting like a man right now. Your relationship is your business. I do not dwell on that. You came into my home. Who had to bring up for you? And this is not about a lawsuit, anything. Who brought up that you should contribute a few dollars to our household?
You did. Long after
Why?
I brought it up to
Excuse me.
Teresa.
Excuse me. Was it your place to bring it up to her or to my husband and I?
To you guys.
I don't know. Could be either one, though.
Okay.
His relationship was with her.
It was
Again.
brought up before you brought it up.
Then why wasn't it paid before I
Now
brought
you're
it up?
on to something.
Ask her.
Now you're on to something. Did he pay?
I eventually did pay, yes.
Eventually.
After
And I
how
did-
long of
I
being
did-
there, TJ?
What, 4
For what?
months?
Try again. Keep trying and I'll let you know when to stop.
It's
Now,
my, it's
I'm
my
gonna say
courtroom
this.
now. This is not, you can't, I'll let you go, but now you giving orders.
Plaintiff Teresa Crone is suing her ex-fiancé, who claims he would literally cry and beg Teresa to show him love and affection because she was so cold.
We're going to move on to breach of contract. What
Yes.
breach of contract are you suing him about?
Your Honor, I'm suing him for an engagement ring that I paid off.
That she still
You
has.
paid for. Did you put anything down?
Yes, I actually made 2 payments on the credit card that I had gotten the ring on. Now, mind you, this ring was...
How much?
Oh, I think I'm really not... I think $100.
Oh,
or
well, I have to
the
go with
receipts
her.
right
You're not
here.
sure she is. Let's see what do you have there, ma'am.
See, she had my credit card receipts.
What is this, ma'am? What is this you're handing
That's
me?
the receipts for the payments that he paid, and here's the receipts.
The total cost?
Well,
What was the agreement on the ring?
Well, prior to us moving on into the apartment, we were talking about the ring payments. We were both agreed that I would pay off the ring.
You keep saying pay off. That means he was supposed to pay some. How much
Right.
was he supposed to pay?
He paid off the 100, and I paid off the remaining, the 1065.11.
All right. 1065.11 is what you put into the ring.
Correct.
He put 100 or so.
Correct.
All right. And you still have the ring?
Yes, I do.
All right. So you want both the money and the ring.
I want.
That's a nice little setup.
I mean, however, though, with our agreement, we talked about when we prior moving into the apartment that I was going to pay off the ring, and instead of him paying off the jewelry store every month, the full price, he would be paying me every month half. It was a $50 agreement.
And he didn't pay you anything?
Correct.
All right. And what else does he owe you for? That's $1,065.
Correct. And
what
then
about
$2,000 also. We were talking about getting a house. He talked to the mortgage broker, and in order to start the pre-approval process, he needed to have $2,000 in his account. We talked about it. I pulled out the $2,000 out of my account to put in his account with the understanding that TG told me after the pre-approval process has happened, he was supposed to return me back my $2,000.
And he hasn't, obviously.
Correct. And
All
that
right.
money is meant for my education, Your Honor. My education, he knows, is everything to me. I'm a 4.0 honor student, and that money was given to me by my grandmother for my education.
So why'd you do that then?
It was with the understanding, though-
inheritance.
That was still from my grandmother, meant for my
And
education.
she was going,
It
how you
doesn't-
going to count this woman's money?
Yes,
You owe her.
I mean, she says it was for school,
Tell her what
but
it was
it
for.
is.
you got grants for
Doesn't
school.
matter, sir. I don't care if for her to smoke crack with. It was her money. Talk about because of what it was for. She doesn't have a claim to it. What do you want to tell me about the ring and the $2,000?
The ring, yes, she did offer. She offered to pay the ring off, yes. I never asked her to pay the ring off, and so she did.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
And as far as the $2,000, I understand that it didn't go towards the house, which I was working with the broker to get the house. And at the same time in spring, I just recently got into union, and they started actually taking $400 a month out of my paycheck for, you know, pension, annuity, so on and so forth. And instead of having the conversation with Teresa, I had kept going thinking that maybe I would find side work or something to put this money back in, and it pretty much got used towards our rent, our livelihood.
You agreed that you were to replace the $2,000 and you didn't?
Yes.
And with regard to the ring, ma'am, you want the ring or the money?
The money. He could have the ring. I just want the money. And Your Honor, I do have a promissory note that we both signed, and I have my checks.
Sir?
And Your Honor, I also have text messages that he was admitting that he does owe me my money.
The total payment shall be $3,600. You signed that, sir.
Right, I did. I also signed that at her house with her family there after I got the whole, you have backstabbed my daughter.
Oh, Your Honor.
With a gun to your head?
Not a gun to my head, but I mean,
counterclaim $3,960. How does she owe you $3,960?
Well, during the year that we lived in the apartment, I pretty much went back and forth from the apartment to downtown. I mean, it's a 100-mile round trip. She wouldn't, you know, we talked about it before we had moved out to possibly move a little bit closer to downtown. She's got a 10-minute ride to her school, a 30-minute ride to her work, and she couldn't compensate for that. So on top of that, and the fact that she was basically a meat locker, you know, cold on the inside, a meat locker, cold on the inside, just a shell that's freezing on the inside, because, you know, I had to fight for respect. I had to fight for love. I had to fight for a decent back scratch and just couldn't get it. I mean, 3 years we were together. She did 2 loads of laundry, and I'm driving 2 to 4 hours on top of an 8-hour workday.
Your Honor.
The problem is, sir, unless you all agreed that she would pay this, you don't have a claim. You only have a claim on someone not paying if they agreed to pay and failed to do so. So this sounds like you were doing what a good mate would do.
Plaintiff Teresa Crone is suing her ex-fiancé, who claims he would literally cry and beg Teresa to show him love and affection because she was so cold.
What else did you want to say, ma'am?
Just basically that the text messages stating that he does owe me the money, and he's admitting that he does owe me the money for the ring and for the $2,000.
Then you have to give him the ring. You have the ring? All right. This is a pretty ring.
Yes, it is.
Well, give it back. You give it to your next girlfriend. She doesn't want it. I'll give you your money, ma'am. And with regard to the rent, sir, I can't grant you a judgment for something that wasn't agreed upon. Sounds like you were trying to do right by your fiancé and taking care of the rent and taking care of everything without any agreement being necessary. And this is the thanks you get today, is you get sued.
Of course,
and she don't want to repay your money, and she throw your ring back in your face.
You know what? I kept the apartment
Judgment for the plaintiff, sir. Your claim is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You didn't have an agreement. Have a good day.
Thank you. I'm just glad this is over. It's in the past, and we can get on with our lives.
I just think she could have had a lot more if she was any warmer in her heart.
A lot more. I wouldn't want you anyway. You have no ambitions or goals in your life.
You have no
And
heart.
I think anybody that's stuck with you gets a lot less because you rip off people and you are a leech. And you drag people's families in that took you into their heart and you use them.
We recently spoke with defendant Thomas T.J. Backley, who told us that after the case, he and plaintiff Teresa Crone got back together, but they ultimately broke up, and he hasn't talked to her in 4 years. Thomas said he's happy and is now dating another woman.